Hello, it's an honor for me that you're watching this. Thank you very much. These are some points, these videos, I try to make some points that I'm really interested in, and I try to make, discussion on those points. Now, the case of Kris Kremmers and LisAnne Fron, some of the big question marks I had about that case, I made previous videos too, and there's a couple more videos that I probably will make. I try to keep these short and just on the point. This is one part of this whole case that I found very odd are the photos. Now, not the dark photos, not those, but specifically, not to look at my paper, specifically photo 499 to photo 500. 499 to 500. Photo 500, more specifically, was taken. That photo was taken 6 seconds after photo 499. Now, if you look at 499, you have a picture of LisAnne, and she's in the background. She has I forget exactly what her pose is, but you see her, and she's smiling at the camera, and the sky is very clear. There might be a cloud, but it's a pretty white cloud, but you see blue skies. It looks like a wonderful day. And then there's image 500. Now, image 500, there's a different pose with LisAnne, and you'll see that the background is totally different. Now, it's taken of a different part of the mountain and different part of the summit, and the background is all dark. 6 seconds. 6 seconds. Now, is it possible that one part, like one view of the mountain range is cloudy and one view of the mountain range is a nice day? Well, that's possible. There's people that from the area that say it's possible. I live in a high altitude area, and I have beautiful views where I live. And yeah, you know what? Sometimes you can, on one side of a hill, a big hill or a mountain, you might have, you know, good weather, and on the other end, bad, but not quite as drastic as photo 499 to 500, because 6 seconds. It's not like they could have traveled a long distance to 6 seconds to get that drastic of a view difference. Do you know how far Kris would have had to walk? LisAnne would have had to walk, and Kris following her with the camera. Let me ask you this: a 6 second difference between photos. Now, this pianista trail, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry, but this trail, that's the piano trail, that in English, it's, I don't know if it's, I guess it's world known among hikers. I never heard of it before this case, but I'm not, I'm not really into hiking. I like to hike. I have a history of hiking, but it's not like I go to places just to hike. That's just not my cup of tea. But there's some people that do that, and this trail is pretty well known. Now, you walk an hour and a half to the summit of this well-known hill that you go there to do. You walk this trail to get to the summit. Now you're at the prize. You're where you want to get, and you take 6 seconds after one photo to another. And actually, there's evidence that there was a little over a minute. There was 9 photos taken at the summit. If the timeline portrayed by the police is correct, friends, that's not correct. Nine photos in a little over a minute, and just 6 seconds from 499 to 500. I challenge you, if you don't believe me, to go to someplace you've never been before. Go to someplace you've never been, a beautiful place, and say you go to this beautiful place and you want to get selfies. You want to get, well, I guess it's not a selfie if you're not taking it, but you want to get photographed, and there's only one person that's going to photograph you, and that's the person that you go with. You want to get a picture on one side, and then you want to get a drastically different picture on the other side of wherever you go. So different that the weather is completely different. So you have to walk. So if you went to a place and you weren't trying to rush, like, yeah, could you take 6 seconds if you were like speeding and running and trying to do it? Maybe, but they had no reason to do that. These women, they had no reason to run and try to make a record of how fast they could do it. Now, they might have been trying to make good time, but still, that they would have wanted to make good pictures. I suppose that people who are watching this probably saw pretty much pretty much most of the photos that were taken of Kris and LisAnne, Kris and LisAnne when they were in Panama. Was there a blurry picture taken or a bad picture? I mean, from what I remember, most of the pictures were, I mean, they were posed and they were well posed, as were the pictures on the summit, as were pictures 499 to 500. Now, as I was saying, if you go somewhere you've never been before, that's well known, it's a beautiful area, and you want to get the panoramic view of one side and the other side, is it going to take you 6 seconds? Or is it going to take you more like 1 minute for one picture, for that one picture? Friends, it's going to take you more like 1 minute. 6 seconds is, that to me is, now it's not a red flag that it's not a red flag to me that, that there's a massive cover up. It's not a red, just this in itself doesn't mean that an accident couldn't have occurred. But I think this in itself is enough to raise serious questions about the timeline according to the photographs. Something's up with those photos, with the timeline. Now, I'm not even going to the dark area right now. Not even talking about those. I'm just talking about the ones on the summit. Now, what do you think is more likely? Judging from the environment, judging from the poses, I mean, do you think it's more likely that these women, that they walk a mile and a half, an hour and a half to get to this beautiful area and they rush the pictures? Or do you think it's more likely that they went to the summit, they took a few pictures, and they thought, we're going to go a little bit further. So they go a little bit further, and then on the way back, they take some more pictures. To me, option B, that they take some pictures the first time, and then when they come back through, when they're going home and they come back through, they take more pictures. That seems a lot more reasonable, and to me, that explains the background shift. That explains going from a really blue, sunny day to dark. I mean, the weather change was, now the weather change in itself doesn't prove, but I think the weather change shows you the distance that would have had to have been changed, the distance Kris and LisAnne would have had to make a completely new photo of a new angle. And 6 seconds is not long enough for that. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. So it's not just the weather, but it's the it's what they would have had to do for those pictures to show up like they did. And these were two women that, they loved photographs, they loved Facebook, they at least to my knowledge, one of them did. They posted stuff. This is like a trip that they spent a lot of time on. I mean, raising the funds and planning. Do you think they're going to take haphazard, short, 6 second pictures when they're at the summit of a really nice place? Do we have any indication that they were rushed during any of the other photos that they took during this trip? Not from what I've seen. This really is something I think we need to embrace, is that if you go someplace and you take two pictures of opposite sides of wherever you go and you pose, it's going to take longer than the 6 seconds. And 9 pose pictures. If you look at those pictures, they're posed. Now, some people say that they had different hairstyles. I don't really see that. I didn't really look that close. Honestly, I'm married, so my I don't like looking too closely at photos of other women because my I'm faithful to my wife. I don't want to do anything to dishonor her. So I don't try to get, but yeah, it does. It's pretty easy to. So I mean, I don't go in detail enough to like check out the hairstyle and things like that. But that the environment. I mean, the different view on the mountains, the sky. I mean, it's pretty obvious. At 6 seconds doesn't lie, or does it? Can we trust anything on that camera? Can we trust the timing of anything on that camera? I'm not sure we can. Thank you, friends. God bless you. Thank you.